Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a fun video for you using a couple of products that my daughter chose for my craft room. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do that and follow me on my socials. Let's get started. So all the supplies I'm using today you can see on the right hand side of the screen. For more specific measurements, these can be found over on my blog. So we're starting off with a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock, and we're just measuring in each side at 1 1/4 inch, and I'm just chopping both those sides off. This creates a really awesome card front here. I don't quite cut all the way up to the top, so I'm just going to bring my paper snips in and just finish off that little bit of a cut there. Using my bone folder, I'm just going to create that nice crisp image. And we have a piece of Whisper White cardstock here that's just going to go on the inside of the card. You can see that Whisper White can be seen on both sides of the card front. For all these supplies, you could head over to my online store and purchase any of these that I'm using. So I've used the Daffodil Delight cardstock here and ran it through the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. And for our tag here, I have shimmery white cardstock that I've run through the Delightful Tag Topper Punch. So with the tag and this other little bit of Daffodil Delight, we're going to do the Dandelion stamp and the sentiment. And we're going to just ink up with Versamark ink, and I'm also using black embossing powder. Now Stampin' Up actually don't carry this anymore, but I highly recommend having it in your stash. So because this stamp's actually a fairly big stamp, I've put the Versamark straight onto the stamp. I find it's easier to do it that way when it's a larger stamp. So just spreading that powder all the way around. If you have any flyaway pieces, you can also use just a paintbrush to get rid of those little bits of extras. So I have the heat tool here, heating it up. Once the powder has melted, it will go really nice and glossy. It also gives it a little bit of a 3D effect on top of your card front. On the tag, I'm going to take a Aqua Painter, and I've just taken the whole barrel off the top of the Aqua Painter. In my Daffodil Delight re-inker, I'm just going to pop a little bit in the top of my lid here. I don't want to use too much water, which is why I've taken the actual barrel off the Aqua Painter. I don't want a lot of water, but I've just picked up some of that ink and I'm just spraying it around all over that tag. I will also go in and just put a little bit bigger blotches down just to give it a little bit of extra effect there. I think just these little bits just make it look really great. Now this does take a little bit to dry, not too long, but I'll move it to the side and we'll move on with the rest of the card. Doesn't that look great? Okay, moving to our sentiment, I've got my paper snips here and I'm just going to do a little bit of fussy cutting all the way around the sentiment. Now you can get as close to it as you like, or I've left a little bit of a border all the way around. I've used the Daffodil Delight cardstock here as my daughter picked the Daffodil Delight card out. But what colour would you think would work really well with this card? There is so many colours to choose from, but what would be your suggestion? Bringing the card back in, I'm just going to use the Tombow Mono Glue to stick that embossing piece down. It's tone on tone, but it really does make it stand out as well. Same with our Whisper White piece. Now you can do it two ways. I've actually glued it straight down to my card base so I can stamp those dandelions down the sides. But if you prefer, you could do that before you actually glue it into the card. Now I'll show you just here, I've actually used a little bit of scrap card just to mask off the bottom of my card front, just so I don't get on that Daffodil Delight cardstock on the bottom. We have the Daffodil Delight ruched ribbon that I'm just going to create a nice little bow tie here. This ribbon is really soft and creates some wonderful bows. My tag has dried, so I don't need to run it over the heat tool, but if yours is still wet, just give it a quick once over. Popping some dimensionals on the back of that tag, making sure that you don't have them go to the very end. You don't want it peeking over the side of the card front. Also going to pop some dimensionals on the sentiment as well. Lastly, we have the mini glue dots. Now these work the very best for sticking ribbon down, and it's just going to go on the top of that tag there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. Don't forget to comment on what colour you would change the Daffodil Delight to, and I'll talk to you in my next video.